Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to discuss the one product trap. I've seen so many business owners come through the agency. This is now, we've worked with over 500 business, I think close to actually 600 now, since 2018. And we have seen so many businesses start, grow and scale and build something really cool with a ton of potential and then crash and burn to the ground. And a lot of them is due, or a lot of the mistakes they've made is due to the one product trap. They only had one product. And I'm going to quickly unpack in this video what the one product trap really is, the nuances around it, and then potentially what you can do to avoid it. Okay, now this is not as simple as the problem is you have one product and you need more products. It's a little bit more detailed than that, and that's why this video is going to be whatever minutes long. But I'm going to try and keep it as clear and sweet and short as possible. Okay, so if you enjoy marketing and business content, then this is the channel for you, and I believe that there will be value in it for you if you choose to like and subscribe and be notified about future videos. So without any further ado, I'm not here to waste your time. Let's talk about the one product trap. Okay, so we've seen probably, like I said, hundreds of businesses, but probably about 6 or 7 of them have literally started at, if this was a revenue chart, if this was the Shopify dashboard, right, then they would literally start on 0 and they would grow quite nicely up to like 100K after like 90 days. And then they would grow to like 300K. This is now per month. And then what happens is they make one big mistake and revenue drops. And then they close their doors because they're not making enough profit in order to continue with the business. Okay, so that's literally an interpretation of how the revenue charts look over, I'd say, 12 months roughly. So they would come in with one product, they would grow, they try and expand, and then this happens. So I first want to explain why the drop happens, and then the biggest mistake these founders make when the drop starts to happen as well. There's actually 2 mistakes that happens in the business. And obviously I've already given it away in the title of this video, but the first thing, the mistake they have is they only have one product. Now, everybody starts with something. Not everybody can afford to start with multiple products, okay? That's just how it is. So we had a client who came to us. He was in the furniture space and an amazing human being. And he had a very cool, I don't want to go into much detail of this out of respect to him, and yeah, so I'm just going to try and be a bit superficial about the actual details, but this is all true. And I'm going to try and be as honest as I can be without giving any information away. So he came to us and he was doing around, if I'm not mistaken, 80K a month. No, I'm lying. It was, I'm just saying on the high end, it was probably like 80K. It was more like 50K probably as an average. But there was 1 or 2 months he did an 80K. What we did was we started with Google Ads because it was a furniture product. And we've just seen that furniture is more of an intent-driven business. So if you have limited money when it comes to your advertising budget, as opposed to creating demand and hoping that it converts, just go onto Google and see, if there's already intent for that kind of product. And there was. The competition wasn't that bad. So we ran Google Ads, and that got the business to roughly, I think, 200K a month, if I'm not mistaken. And it grew quite nicely. So what happened next was we activated meta ads from a remarketing standpoint and a demand creation standpoint, because the business was at a point where it can actually afford, these additional services. And we reached a point, I think we got to 500K a month. Now keep in mind, this is literally with one product, okay? This was one product. Now, what happened about 8 to 12 months later is that competition came into the market, and everybody else, I'd say probably if we looked per quarter, every quarter there was probably 1 or 2 additional stores selling the same product. So in 12 months space, he probably had roughly 8 to 12 competitors selling the exact same product. Now, maybe I'm being a bit hyperbolic and maybe I'm inflating the numbers a bit, but it was a lot. It wasn't less than 7, that's for sure. And if I'm not mistaken, it was probably as high as, I want to believe 10, because a lot of other furniture stores also started stocking that same product. So even though they weren't competing with them to start with, they eventually ended up competing with them. So I'm not saying that there was 12 other companies selling one product. I'm just saying a lot more people started including that product into their offering. And what happened with his revenue, if we went back to this chart now, I'm just going to use this as the actual indication of this specific business. So he went, we got to like 400 or 500K a month, and we lingered there for a little bit. We couldn't go past, and then this started to happen slowly but surely. And this was a period of probably, I'd say, 6 months. Like, it was up and down, but it was, if you had to look at it overall, it was just on its way out. And the reason for this was the cost of acquisition kept increasing because of the increase in competition. So the cost of acquisition, the cost of acquiring a customer went up because a lot more competition entered the market. So the more people selling the same product, the more options there are, which means the lower the conversion rate will be. So the conversion rate went down, and that essentially meant a lower ROAS. That meant less profit. POAS, profit on ad spend. Now, we built funnels and we did all the cool stuff that you would normally do for these kind of businesses, but we were just delaying the inevitable at the end of the day. And then we said, listen, the only way to really turn this into a business that's got longevity is to add more products that complements the business. People can't just come and buy one product from you over a period of 12 to 24 months, because it's furniture. Like, furniture doesn't have a high LTV unless you have different types of furniture that people can come back and buy. So for example, if you were stocking beds and pillowcases and bed sheets and bedside drawers and tables and chairs and sofas and all these kind of stuff, then there's a good chance someone would buy, have a good experience, and when they had a little bit of money again saved up, they would come back and buy something else. But when you only have one product in the furniture industry specifically, then people buy the product and then they don't need your business or your service again. Okay, and that's not a great business to have. Like, you need revenue coming in every single month. You don't want to find new customers every single month. You ideally want people to come back. And the new customer to returning customer rate I always ideally would like to see is 30 with a 70 split. So 70% new customers and 30% old customers or returning customers. This can be as low as, I'd say, 15%, but anything less than that becomes a little bit of a problem. Again, every industry is unique. Don't assume that this is the same for everybody. The maturity of the business also plays a role here. When we launch a new business or we buy into a startup or something, the repeat customer rate in the first year would be very small. It will go from 4% in month 3 to 8% in month 6 to 12% in month 8, and eventually after 12 months we'll sit at like maybe 20%, and then only in year 2 or 3 do you hit these kind of numbers. But the problem with this business specifically is that you have a product that people buy once and never again, and there's nothing else that actually complements the offer or the actual product, the initial product that people bought. So there's no reason to really come back if you think about it. Okay, so what happened was the business started declining, and the main reason is because it only had one product. And that is what we call the one product trap. You have to keep innovating. You have to bring more things on board, more products on board, offer a wide variety to ensure that people come back to the business, which will make life for you as a business owner a little bit easier. So this was the pivotal part in his business. And whatever actions you're going to take here, this is going to determine whether you keep growing or whether you just keep sinking. Okay, so this is what we call, I would say, the rock and the hard place. So you are between a rock and a hard place, yeah. Because if you make the wrong decision, things can get really tight with your cash flow, and that's usually when shit's the fan. So what happened was he looked at other products to bring in, And we still thought, okay, cool, let's bring in some other, well, I mean, this was mainly his decision. We tried to do as much research as we can, but ultimately he made his decision on what product he wants to bring in. So when he made a decision on this product, in my heart, I don't know, I don't have objective proof to back this up, but I believe it's not a product that was as exciting as the initial one. I don't think the market wanted it as much as the one that obviously, or at least his target audience and the people we were going after, and how the business was positioned in the market after 12 to 18 months. I don't know if that audience was really interested in that specific product that he decided to stock. So what happened was he spent a ton of money on, so he obviously spent a ton of his cash on bringing in this new product. Now you need to keep in mind, you have to keep growing the business. So you have a marketing budget. You have a marketing budget that keeps fueling this growth here. Then at the same time, you're making profit, and maybe you saved up a bit of cash. Now what you do with that cash becomes really, really pivotal and vital for the business. Because if that cash gets spent on the wrong product, guess what? You have basically then no cash left, and this product is already declining. And if that product is going to require its own marketing budget, like you can't now split the marketing between two products, because if you spend 40K a month, for example, now, and that 40K gives you this from that specific initial product, and you had to drop it to 20K to this product, then you're only going to get 250K back here. And so this product will require its own initial marketing budget until the marketing budget can be blended at a later point, and you can decide where to allocate your budget accordingly. So launching a new product is almost like launching a mini little business within a business, if you think about it. When you have a one product at a time business, I'm saying the word business a lot, but you get what I'm saying. So what happened here was, we have one product business, competitors came into the market, the cost of acquisition shot up, no matter what we did, and essentially we were just delaying the inevitable. We had some cash stored, then we bought a product that I believe the market really didn't want as much as the initial one that he wanted. So the sell-through rate on that new product, the sell-through rate here, sell-through rate was much lower than the initial one, okay? And what happened was, our cash conversion cycle now was delayed, because now you're selling less of the second product, so you're selling less of that, which means you're putting cash back into the business at a much slower rate. And that is essentially when you find yourself between the rock and the hard place, okay? Because now think about it. You're spending money to continue growing this product that you initially started with. Now you invest a bunch of cash into bringing in new stock. Now you have to allocate a marketing budget on top of that. But now the marketing budget is not delivering the same results that the initial product did, because it might have been the wrong product to start with, to bring in that second product. We probably shouldn't have went for that specific product. And I say we because I don't want to put all the blame on him. It's his decision. It was, we did the research for him, and we try to objectify it as much as we can. But at the same time, we're always a team at the end of the day. Nonetheless, this product didn't do as well as we initially thought it would. And this is where you then sit with a situation going, what the hell do we do now? Because now you have a business that's technically slowly decaying. The profits are shrinking month on month. You took the remaining cash in the business, which was basically the lifeblood of the business. You put it into a product that is not generating the same kind of sell-through rates and the same kind of returns, which means you're putting cash slower back into the business, all while the profits keep shrinking every single month. So this is why a one product business is really, really risky, okay? It can go any way at any time. And that is why a lot of one product businesses don't get a lot of funding, unless it's really good founders who understand the industry really well. In this case, I don't think it was someone potentially who knew the industries, the ins and outs of it. It was more like, I have my full-time job, this is a side hustle, and I understand that there's an opportunity in the space and I'm going to give it a shot, and it worked. But then the amount of knowledge required from a business IQ level, a business emotional intelligence level, and a financial intelligence level, and the actual industry intelligence. I don't know if all of that was what it needed to be in order to make this business work. Now, from a marketing point of view, we really tried our best. However, this is a real life case study of things that, you know, pan out not the way that you ideally would want them to. But there's massive lessons in this, because whenever you have a one product business, that second product, guys, is really what's going to make or break the business. Unless you've got an endless supply of cash where you can just test new products all the time and hope for the best. But in this case, it's a business that was bootstrapped. It's a situation where the cash needs to actually feed the business. If it can't do that, then what else are you going to do? There's no other options. So what is the actual biggest takeaway here, and how can you avoid this from happening to you, especially if you are starting out and you're most likely going to start with one product too? So the first thing is that you need to understand that a one-time product business is risky, and it doesn't have the longevity to forever make you money. Like, it's not going to last forever, okay? Because at some point more competitors are going to come into the market, and then you're going to have to fight for your market share, and that fighting costs you more money, and that money means that you'll make less profit. Sure, you can negotiate with suppliers and always make bigger deals and whatnot, and there is companies that go very, very far with one product, but it's because they get deeper market penetration because of the network and the ecosystem that they've built through retail and wholesale and all these other things, as opposed to just selling online. Okay, that's two different things. Most people watching these videos and most people that we work with are e-commerce business owners. So understanding that, like, a one product business has got a limited time for profitability, for maximum profitability. And I'd say you've got probably 6 to 12 months. That is the maximum time you have to actually make as much profit as possible. So you have 6 to 12 months to squeeze as much profit into the business as possible, so that you can start to expand the business strategically. Okay? Don't think you're going to have one product and make profit forever, or that maximum amount of profit forever, because that's just not going to happen. Competitors will come into the market. Now, step 2 is you're going to have to spend more time researching what the second product is going to be, second or third or whatever it may be. Like, you have to make sure that this is actually something that will complement the existing audience. Like, what is the current audience after? Why are they shopping from you? Are they coming to you for what? And ideally, you want to give them something that complements what you have initially sold them. Okay? Because remember, you've built up a whole email list of people. Let's say after 12 to 18 months, you've got an email list probably of, I'd say 3,000 people, if not more. 3,000 customers, maybe 10,000 customers. Okay, now the thing is, whatever product you launch next, if this is a good fit, then at least there should be some sell-through because of the audience that you've built for yourself. But if you pick the wrong product, then all of these people are going to say, no thank you, we don't want it, and all that cash is now going to be just sitting there like an ugly stepchild you never wanted. You know, so in essence, it's really important to do the research and ask yourself, is it something that these people want? The first thing is, before you actually stock a brand new product, is can you actually iterate the existing product? For example, iPhone has what? They have iPhone 11, then they did 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. Technically, it's all an iPhone, but it caters for different products in the market. So they had the initial iPhone, and obviously that evolved. Then it became iPhone 11, iPhone Pro, iPhone Pro Max. Is there a way that you can, if this is your existing market share, can you expand your market share by just creating different iterations of the product, as opposed to stocking a brand new product, because that comes with a lot of risk. And this essentially comes with a little bit less risk. Okay. Second thing is, if you're going to stock a brand new product, like I said now, is your audience actually going to be buying into it? Is it something that's actually going to complement it? So I would look at keyword research. So if you're going to look into things, go look at keyword research, go look at the certain trends, go and find, you get tons of apps that gives you indication of what's selling well in Alibaba and other online stores. You can actually spy on other stores and see, what kind of products they sell and what their top sellers are. Those tools are going to help you better understand if the product that you're thinking about is actually something that's got the opportunity to grow this business even further. And then the third step, so now you've got iterate, keyword research and other types of research, and then can you do like a pre-order? Can you run ads to a pre-order page where you show the product and you highlight the product and do your funnel and bomb that off to the email list that we spoke about earlier, which probably, let's say you've got 5,000 people, and see how many of them actually leave their details or actually take the offer, depending on the price of the product, obviously. How many of these people are actually interested in it? You can do a quiz as well. There doesn't even have to be a pre-order. You can actually just do a quiz and ask them, would you be interested in something like this? And I think looking back, like maybe we could have done some of these things a little bit better alongside the business owner. Could we have iterated initially as opposed to stocking a brand new product? Could we have done more research? I think we've done this pretty well actually, but it just didn't work the way that we wanted it to because of various factors. And then here, it's a situation where could we have done a pre-order? Could we have done a quiz? Could we have asked these questions from the actual audience and asked them, hey, we bringing this in, be the first to get your hands on this, or would you actually be interested in something like this? So this is how you reduce risk a little bit for yourself. Pre-orders, quizzes is very valuable. So you've got iterate, research, pre-order, and quiz. And if all of this checks out, if you've done this, or if you can do this, go for this first probably. But if you're not sure and maybe you can't, then move on to research, move on to this. If these things check out, then you can invest in the product. So yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from this video, guys, is a one product business is risky for these reasons, is that you are going to most likely see some success when you pick a product that the market wants and is ready for. And you most likely, if you do your marketing great and you aggressively tap into Google and Facebook and email and all these channels, that you can get you 400K or 500K a month. But on a 20% PBT, that's 100K a month profit, if even that much. Let's say you make 75K a month profit. The question now is, that is only going to be for a limited time. Okay, so you need to understand that 75K a month profit is most likely going to last for 6 to 12 months, and then next year it will most likely be a different story unless you create defensibility around your business. And how you do that is you start to build brand as well, not just a place where people buy stuff, but actually building brand. Actually building brand reputation in the market, which is through content, through the founder showing his face, talking, educating, entertaining, and all those kind of stuff, which obviously costs a lot of money too, but people are buying from people. So if you can create a brand that is seen as a personality, then you're going to have a higher chance of defending your business against other competitors. But different topic for another time. And coming back to this conversation, that 75K a month is going to last you for a limited amount of time before competitors are going to come in, and that's going to shrink. So you want to stack up as much cash as possible within that time frame. So after a year, you could have 750K or 700K, in the bank account, and now you can go, cool, we're going to take 100K and pay an agency for research, or we're going to take 100K and actually invest it in marketing to do a pre-order and see what happens, or when that checks out, then spend the rest, but spend your 200-300K on bringing in that product from overseas, whatever it may be. So yeah, I hope there was value in this video. I think it's just a story that I wanted to tell, because I've probably seen 4, 5 or 6, probably more now, and not all of them were through V8, the agency, but it's a situation where I've spoken with so many people who've had great products, but those products only lasted for so long before they had to pivot and do something else because they didn't learn these lessons, and they weren't aware of this. So if I can help you avoid this mistake, then I've done my job. So that's it from my side today. Hope there was value in this video. key takeaway is one product trap. Don't be that person that gets stuck between a rock and a hard place. Plan strategically, save your money, make sure to try and iterate if you can, do the research, do the actual pre-order or quiz testing, and invest strategically, and understand that this product will need its own marketing budget. So you're going to have to fork out the cash to bring in the stock, and then it will have to be a little baby business on its own that you're going to have to advertise as well. So there you have it. If you like this kind of content, which is just real life lessons shared in the most authentic way I can, then like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified about the next video. Cool guys, much love, cheers.